So this video is honestly probably the most important video I've ever put out on YouTube, and I really mean that. We're gonna go talk about strategy, of course, but this is going to be about, well, strategy, but risk management and mindset. I'm going to give you all of the principles and rules that allowed me to go from an amateur trader who's sometimes doing well, but then ends up always blowing accounts, blowing funded accounts or challenges, from this to a professional trader who actually takes this seriously and ends up being profitable. We're going to go from amateur to professional. If you follow these rules, you can do exactly what I have been able to do after a lot of hard work. We're going to go through some strategy. I know this looks cool and interesting, but we're going to start at the whiteboard right here. And I swear this is more important than any strategy that I've shown before. We're going to need to work on these strategies for sure, but the mindset is going to allow you to make these strategies actually work in real time. We're not blowing accounts anymore. We're not over-risking anymore. We're not stepping out of the strategy anymore. We're following our rules in order to make that strategy work. We're working on our mindset in order to make that strategy work. Because I don't care how good it is, if you don't have the right mindset, you're done. If you behave like a child, like an amateur in front of the charts, going emotional, you're done, right? And you know that already, but now let's get into it really. So the first is be a pro. Remind yourself all the time, be a pro. Now, what does a pro do? So first of all, it is going to start, of course, with the strategy. I'm not one of these guys who are going to tell you it's 90% psychology. No, it starts with the strategy, of course. So you're going to do your homework, meaning your back testing. You're going to find a strategy that you're going to back test. I know you know that already, but 100 times, 200 times, 300 times. And then you're going to take that maybe to a demo account, or maybe to a cheap challenge maybe, or a small personal account where you don't have a lot of money on there, but you're going to be training your mindset and testing your strategy live, okay? But you're going to have to do your homework, and you're going to have to do a lot of it to make sure your data is right, to make sure your strategy is right. If you want strategies, you can look at my previous videos and probably my next video where I'm going to go into another strategy as well. But depending on your style, you'll pick your strategy, back test it, and make sure that it works. Make sure that it works. You have to do your homework. Now, once you've done your homework, you need to learn how to trust your strategy. Because of course, there are times, maybe you're going to have 2-3 good weeks, and then you're going to have a bad week because the strategy is not going to work the same every day. It's not going to work the same every week or even every month. Most likely you will end the month positive if you handle yourself as an adult, as a man or a woman, but as an adult, as a professional, this strategy is going to allow you to be green at the end of the month. But you're going to have maybe 1, maybe 2 bad weeks during that month, right? So trust the strategy. If it goes wrong, we're going to get into this, but if it goes wrong, you need to stay on your risk, right? Keep the same risk per trade and trust the strategy. Tell yourself, maybe this week is going to be a red week. Maybe I'm going to lose the profits that I made just the week before, but that's fine because I'm a professional. I don't lose my cool. I accept the red week and we move on to the next one. Now, trust the strategy. If you've done your homework, the strategy works, the strategy works. That's it. No negotiating, no deviating from the strategy, right? Now, you need to have, that's very important, and I think not a lot of people talk about it or not enough, clear trading sessions, and even within the session, clear trending hours. So what do I mean by that? Your strategy needs to be backtested at certain times. You cannot just be clicking through 5-minute or 15-minute candles all day long and see, how many times your strategy works. No, you need to tell yourself, what am I trading? Am I trading Asia session, London, New York? Within these sessions, you're not going to be trading the whole session. Or maybe you are if you have a strategy that works on the 15-minute time frame or the 30-minute or the 1 hour. But if you're trading the 5 minutes, you're trading maybe the beginning of Asia or the beginning of London, beginning of New York, or maybe actually your strategy doesn't work that well during the opening of these sessions. So maybe you're trading New York and you should actually avoid the first hour of New York when there's a lot of volatility and you need some calmer, more, how would you say, less volatile, basically, less volatile price action, right? So you need to figure that out, and that's very important, and that's going to be part of your backtesting as well. And that's also what is going to keep your mind cool, because you're not going to be trading and thinking about trading 6, 7, 8 hours a day. You're going to be trading for 30 minutes, 1 hour, an hour and a half during that particular session at whatever time works the best for your strategy, right? And that's important because your mental capital is going to be saved, right? If you're thinking about trading, looking at every candle for 6 hours, your mindset is your energy, your brain energy is just going to burn out, and you're going to end up taking too many trades or taking the wrong trades. Whereas if you have just 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, where during that period you look for the one perfect setup, right? Then your mindset is going to be your mind energy, right? Your capital, your brain capital is going to be saved, right? It's going to stay chill. You're going to stay cool. You're not going to overheat the machine, right? Now, what do we have next? Okay, we're going to go into risk management now. And now we're going to use actually the whiteboard here. You need to start, first of all, with low risk, right? Low risk. While you're proving your backtesting, so first step, backtesting, right? You've proven that 100, 200, 300 times ideally. Then you take it to a small account. You bring your strategy to a small account. I don't care if it's a $10 live account, personal account, or maybe a cheap challenge for a 50K account that you found on Bullinox or something like that. You can get them for like $15 if you get the right promo code that they get like once a month. But something cheap that is not going to cost you financially and mentally, right? If you lose that account, you're okay, right? It's not going to destroy you mentally, right? And financially, obviously. So you're going to use low risk in terms of how much you're paying for that account. And within that account, you're going to use low risk per trade, okay? Now, let's say I have or you have we're going to talk about a $2,000 account, right? This is not a small account, right? For some people that's small, for most people that's a lot of money, but it doesn't matter. It can be $20 for you, it can be 200, it can be 20,000, it doesn't matter, right? This is where risk management is going to be very important. And by risk management, I'm not even talking about managing your trades. We're not really going to go there. I'm talking about the amount of money you're willing, or the percentage of your account you're willing to risk on any given trade, right? So I think if you're on the 50K challenge, for example, evaluation on a prop firm, most of the time you're going to have a $2,000 max loss limit, which is basically what your account is. It's $2,000, right? On that, I like to risk a max of $500 per trade, okay? So this is what's going to happen. You're going to risk $100. What did I say? $500 per trade? I'm sorry, 5% of your account, I mean. You want to risk 5% of your account, sorry, which would equate to $100. Now, if you risk $100 per trade, it's going to take you 20 trades to lose that account. It's going to take you 20 trades to lose, 20 losing trades in a row to lose that account. You know how difficult that is? I don't care how bad your strategy is. To lose 20 trades in a row is very difficult to accomplish if you stick to that $100 risk. Because what actually happens, this is where we're going to get into how we blow accounts. And I know you guys know this, because you think sometimes maybe you blew your account because you had, oh, my bad, yes, that wasn't the plan at all. Maybe you blow your account. How did I fix this? Why is this all wrong now? What are you doing down there, bro? Come back here. There you go. Sorry. So can I just erase this? No, I have to erase everything. That's silly, isn't it? Oh, there you are. Okay, so how do you blow your accounts? How did I blow my accounts? It's certainly not by even when I had a bad strategy and I was figuring things out and the strategy was good in backtesting, but I didn't do the backtesting properly, and when I took it live, it wasn't working. Even with my bad strategies, I didn't blow my accounts by losing 20 trades in a row. So let's say you have a $2,000 account. This is your story. This is my story. This is, you lose one trade, let's say we're Monday, you lose one trade on Monday, $100. You lose, let's say, actually you lose two trades on Monday. Monday, you're down to $100. Now, this is Monday, let's go to Tuesday now. Tuesday, you start with a win, and then you have two losses. So you start with plus 100, you lose 200, you're down $100 for the day. Let's move on to Wednesday. Wednesday, it's a bad week. Your strategy is good. I'm talking here about a good strategy that you've backtested that actually works live. Let's say the 3 previous weeks you were in the positive, you were doing great, or at least you were doing good. And now we're going to the bad week, the one that is going to test you as a professional. You have minus 200 on Monday, minus 100 on Tuesday. Come to Wednesday, you again have 2 losses. You're again down $200. Come Thursday, you get 1 win and 1 loss. You're at 0 for Thursday, right? Comes Friday, you get just 1 loss, let's say. But it's the one too many, right? It's that 1 loss that kind of broke the camel's back. Because now that $2,000 account is down 2, 3, 4, 5, where you're down $600. And now that $2,000 account is at $1,400. Notice something. That sucks, right? That sucks. But you're still good. You have $1,400. These weeks are going to happen. They're going to be pretty rare, but they are going to happen. But $600, you can make that back the next week. And if you have a good beat, you can actually make that back in 2 or 3 days, right? It's as fast as you lost it, you can just win it back just as fast, right? But what happens here? Let's talk about this Friday, because this is how you blow your accounts. This is how I blew my account. And this is maybe the most important part of the video, is that instead of maybe stopping there because you go like, listen, this is a bad week. Even if I take another trade, what? I'm going to make my $100 back, right? But I'm emotional now. I need to stop this. I'm having a bad beat. It's a bad cycle. It's like anything else in life. It's like in poker. You can have the best players in the world and they're going to lose a tournament. Maybe even at the beginning of the tournament because they get into just a bad cycle, right? And it's just sometimes the universe is just not going your way. And that's kind of the story of life, and that's fine. It is going to happen. But now this is the mistake you're doing, is that on the next trade, you're still going to follow your strategy and you're going to wait for a good setup, right? You're actually waiting for a good setup, but again, you're in a bad beat. But you're going to double your risk or maybe even triple your risk, and you're going to risk $300 on that next trade. And it's a good setup, but what happens? You lose again. You're in that bad cycle that happens to every trader, but you lose again. First mistake, you tripled or doubled, tripled your risk. Now you're down $400 for the day. So now you're not at 1,400. We already counted this. You're now at $1,100, which is bad because you lost 50% pretty much of your account now. But what happens here? You're not stopping there. Now you're saying, you know what, screw this strategy. It's not even working anymore. I'm going to take the trade either that's even opposite my strategy, or I'm just going to go like, you know what, I'm going to take New York Open, first 1 minute candle. If I see it going up aggressively, I'm longing. And you know what, this time, I'm either going to double my risk, maybe risk $800, or maybe just not even put a stop loss. I'm going to double my risk and no stop loss. And then what happens? You've been there. I know you've been there. I've been there many times. Honestly, many times. This $1,100 is all gone. You blew your account in 1 week. And remember, you could have been down $1,400 that week. You could have been down $600 that week and have your account at 1,400, which is fine, dude. It's fine. It's going to happen to you. But it's absolutely fine. You lost your profits of the previous week, maybe even a bit more than that. Maybe the previous week you made $400 and now you lost your previous week profits plus 200, right? But that's fine. It is going to happen. But this is what happened. This is what blew your account. It's not all this stuff. This was absolutely fine. This is what blew your account. So your strategy is fine. Because, by the way, let's look at the win rate of that. You had 2 losses here. I think here you had two losses. Here you had, I think, 2 losses, 1 win. Here you had 2 losses. Here you had 1 loss, 1 win. And then here, we're not even going to count these because you just went crazy. And here you had, let's say, 1 loss. So that's a bad week. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses versus 2 wins. By the way, if you stick to your strategy, it's rare that this is going to happen. Like 80% losing rate, honestly, that's going to be extremely rare. So even this scenario is like not even the worst case scenario, it's the worst case scenario. Because most likely, if you've handled yourself as a professional, as an adult, you're not going to be down $600. You might be down $400 for that week. But let's say we're in the worst case scenario where you take 8 losses and 2 wins during that week. You're still just down $600. You're still at $1,400 equity on that account. You know how good that is? With a bad beat like this, you're still at $1,400. Remind yourself that, because with a terrible week, you still can be doing all right, especially if you've had a few good weeks before that. You're not even in drawdown for the month. This is all in your mind. You're screwing yourself over because you're refusing a bad week or a few bad days or a bad beat. This is what is destroying you, right? So now let's go a bit deeper into this, because I think people just don't realize this. Because what is going to happen when you blow that account is not just that you blew the, geez, this is just terrible. It's not just that you blew the account. Is that now you're down, you blew the account, you have to maybe, let's say you're doing challenges, right? Either it's your own personal money and you have to put $2,000 back on an account, which is a nightmare, or it's a challenge. It was maybe a funded account that you had. Now you need to start a challenge again. But not just that. Your mindset is destroyed, not just for the next week, most likely for several weeks, maybe for a couple months, because you didn't just lose trust in your strategy, you lost trust in your own self as a trader. However good your previous weeks were, you're thinking now, dude, I'm not gonna make it. Maybe you had a few good months even, right? And now you're back to where you were 6 months ago, a year ago. And you're like, oh my God, all that progress? What have I done? Like, am I even capable of being a trader? Now your mind is playing tricks on you because it's doubting your whole capacity at making actual money, at making it as a trader. You can do it. Your strategy is good. You actually just had 1 bad week, which wasn't even that bad financially. But now with what you did to yourself, you destroyed all your confidence. And it's going to take you weeks to get back to that level of confidence and to regain that account, because now you're losing confidence. Maybe it's going to take you weeks just to get back to a funded account, right? Now you're blowing challenges again, 3 challenges in a row. You're not getting back to your funded. You understand what I'm saying? Minus $600 is fine, because let's say something else. That's very important as well. Now your account is at, what did we say, 1,400, right? Your account is at $1,400. We've established that you can make it back next week. But not only that, at the end of that week, of course, you're going to be emotional and you're going to be disappointed and you're going to have some doubt. That's natural. But also, this is how you're going to look at it. You're going to go like, dude, this is the typical week where I would have blown an account. This happened to me this week, by the way. I actually ended up in small profit. But this is the kind of week where you would have blown your account. And now you're going to look back at that week and you're going to go like, dude, I'm so freaking proud of myself because I'm down 600. I can make it back next week, or I can make it back in a week and a half. I'm absolutely good. And I'm still profitable for that month, right? My strategy still works. You're gonna be proud of yourself. This week of you not blowing your account, I swear to God, is gonna be way more powerful than the previous weeks where it was quite easy, where the strategy was going well, everything was going your way. I mean it. This week is gonna be way more powerful in your mindset on the long term to show yourself that you're a pro, you're a professional trader. You're positive for the month, and you handled that week, that horrible week, like a god darn professional. And not only that, this is what's going to happen too. You're going to look back at you're going to cool down Saturday or Sunday. You're going to look back at that week. You're going to look at price action. You're going to look at the trades that you took. And you still have a bit of doubt about your strategy because you had 6 losses or 8 losses, 2 wins. And you're going to look back, go through the price action, go through your trades, and you're going to go like, oh dude, actually that setup wasn't that good. If I hadn't taken that setup, I would have taken that setup and I would have not been down 100, but I would have been plus 100 for that day. Then you're going to go to Tuesday or Wednesday and go like, oh, this was a bad setup. I thought it was a good setup. That was a bad setup too, actually. Here again, I shouldn't have been down 100. If I had waited 15 more minutes, there was a way better breakout and I should have been up $100 as well. And you're going to look back and you're going to go like, my strategy was fine. I just made a couple mistakes, which is absolutely fine. I was unlucky this week and I made some mistakes, but I stayed cool and I ended up being positive for the week. But you know what I mean? So again, look at 2 situations now. With that terrible week, you can end up at just minus $600 and realize that actually you made some mistakes and your strategy actually kind of worked that week, right? Or you can be in a blown account with your mentality completely destroyed. Just by doing small changes and controlling your emotions and sticking to your risk, just by doing that and locking yourself out, also at the end of Friday, right, when you took again a loss, you're like, I'm done. Just by doing this, you go from actually that weekend being proud of yourself and realizing that your strategy was actually pretty good. It's just that you made a couple mistakes, right? This is one option, the professional option, and the amateur, childish, emotional option has blown an account, doesn't believe in himself anymore as a trader, and is going to take weeks to recover from that bad week. These are your options. Let's go. This is a rant, but you need to understand this. And this is a motivational speech for you guys. This is to give you hope. These bad weeks, they're fine. In the grand scheme of things, they're absolutely fine. You're okay. You're gonna be okay if you stick to your rules, okay? About the strategy itself, I think this is important. You need to have, I think, a clear and simple strategy. You need to have a strategy where you're not looking at 10 different things and looking, oh, the 1 hour is doing this and then the 5 minute and then within the range of the trend and this and that, because you're looking at too many things. And if you're looking at too many things, you have, there's too much space for interpretation, right? Because now you have to interpret the 1 hour and the 5 minute and the range and the trend and there's always a little bit of that. But your strategy, especially as a beginner or as a mid-level trader, you've been doing that just for a few years, you need to simplify it as much as you can. It cannot be too simple, of course, but it can't be too complicated. Like I don't want even to trash ICT stuff. It works great for some people, but for a very small amount of people. But it's too complicated for you guys, and it's just for you guys. It's too complicated in general, and it's just gonna screw with your mind too much. If you're doing too much analysis, you're gonna have paralysis of analysis, and you're gonna end up having to make emotional, interpretational decision. Whereas if you have a kind of mechanical strategy, it's not 100% mechanical, but mostly mechanical. Less interpretation. It's like the market, my strategy is telling me to get in, I get in, that's it. I don't have to second guess, oh, maybe the FVG of the order block, of the downside, of the buy side liquidity or whatever. No. There's a breakout with this kind of candle, there's a gap to the left, we're most likely going to fill that gap, I'm entering on the next candle, right? Fair enough, simple enough strategy, something like that. I'm going to show you the strategy that I've been using on a particular account. on one of my funded accounts on Bullinox, which is pretty much what I just said. I'm going to make a full video about this if you want something quite mechanical. Okay, so that's the strategy, right? A strategy that is, all of my strategies are pretty mechanical. There's not too much interpretation that goes with them, and I think that's important, especially as a beginner. Never deviate from the strategy. FOMO, we've been through that, right? Your strategy is not working that well this week. You're doubling risk, and you're not even following the strategy anymore. You blow the account, and then you blame the strategy, when actually nothing wrong with the strategy, is you coming out of it and doubling risk. Accept your losses, your bad days, bad weeks. We've definitely been through that. You're defined by how you handle the bad days, not the easy days. We've been through that, but I'm going to go through it again. That bad week is the one that defined you, because it's the one that you showed to yourself. You can go to the mirror and look at yourself and you say, I'm a goddamn pro. I'm a professional trader, because I handled that bad week, that bad beat, like a freaking professional. And you can be proud of yourself for that, man, honestly, man or ma'am. But really, these bad weeks where you come out of it like a pro, you're gonna feel that, man. I swear you're gonna feel that more than a good week. I really mean that. Trading is life-changing. Do you think such change can happen easily? Going back to being a professional. Imagine where you can be in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years, by trading like a professional, by handling these bad weeks. Imagine how your life can be. Do you think that can happen by gambling or behaving like a child, or being like a pro 90% of the time, but 10% of the time behaving like what happened down there? You remember, just blowing your accounts, going crazy. Do you think that's possible? It's absolutely not possible. You're competing with people that are just incredibly disciplined. I'm not talking about how good their strategy is. I'm not even talking about the big banks and all that stuff. I'm talking about other retail traders. The ones that make it, that change their life, they're highly, highly disciplined. You cannot change your life for the best, and I mean really the best, by being kind of a professional and being an amateur 10% of the time and blowing your accounts. That's not going to happen. You need to realize that. You need to make that change, and it's not that difficult. I'd like to say something too. I honestly, in my soul kind of, throughout my kind of education, I wasn't a disciplined guy. I needed to teach that myself. I'm 37 now, by the way, and I started to teach myself discipline in life in general, and especially in trading, but in life in general, I started to teach myself around 30 years old. I didn't have that in me. It just wasn't, it didn't come to me that easily in life. I wasn't educated that well in the discipline part of life. So it's not easy. And by the way, you don't need to be that smart for trading, right? Some people might have a complex, oh, it's only the MIT people or the people that studied 5, 10 years. No, I never finished college, right? I don't think I'm a stupid guy, but I don't think I'm that smart of a guy. But the most important part is to work hard on your discipline and your strategy. It's the amount of work, all right? You don't need to be a genius for this, but you need to be disciplined. So don't put yourself down mentally or whatever your past is. Put yourself up. By putting yourself up is proving to yourself that you're a disciplined professional trader. So yeah, if you want change in your life, you have to change yourself. Do you think this can happen? Blah, blah, blah. You're playing with the big boys. Yeah, you're playing with the big boys. So act like a big boy. You're not a kid anymore. The person that is doubling the risk and going, oh, the markets were unfair to me. Look, that was a perfect setup and it doesn't even work and blah, blah, blah. That's a kid. That's a baby. That mommy is not buying him a Snickers bars at the supermarket, so he's going to pull a tantrum. I don't care what age you are watching this. If you're doing this, whether you're 18 years old or 60 years old, you're behaving like a baby, doubling, tripling your risk, getting out of your strategy because the market didn't give you what you want. Grow up, fix yourself, get your shit together. I don't know if swearing is bad for the algorithm, but here we are. Yeah, guys. I honestly, I mean everything I say here, and I mean it when I say that's more important than the strategies. The strategies are extremely important, but This mentality, if you don't get to that mentality, if you don't follow these rules, you're never going to make it. And you just need to step out of these rules one time and you blow your account, and then your mind is screwed. Now, this can happen a few times, but remind yourself, you're going to screw yourself up for months. Everything you built for the last 6 months, 1 year, well, now you're going to have to kind of start over, and it's going to take you weeks and months to get back to where you were. This strategy, I'm going to make a video, maybe record it even today. It's coming up. By the way, it looks a bit complicated. We don't have the volume profile, we don't need it. Gap, this isn't, I guess it's a FVG, by the way. I'll get into it. I really like it. This strategy allowed me to be out of the markets. Literally, it's not always like this, but I started trading at 7 a.m. Well, I was here before doing my technical analysis, obviously. I took this trade at 7:05. This trade, I think I stayed 20 seconds in that trade. So technically, I traded from 7 a.m. to at the end of this candle, which was 7:10. I was done trading. And that's so good. And also, if I lose that trade, I'm out in 20 seconds, maybe 5 minutes. If I win, I'm out in 20 seconds, maybe 5 minutes. And that is good for your mental capital. It's fairly mechanical. You need a bit of interpretation, but okay. And the other strategies that I've put out, guys, I put them out because I believed in them. I've tested them. I trade them. Not all of them. I don't all trade them anymore. I still trade a couple of them. This is what I'm doing right now on one of the accounts, and on other accounts I'm doing more like 15-minute strategies. But yeah, I'll do a video if you guys are interested on this particular strategy. It looks a bit more complicated here than it is, but it's just support and resistance with volume at the right time of the day, the right time of the session, and entering on the top wick, and boom, confirmation to the downside. That's it. Leave me some comments on this video, guys. It's not about the algo or anything like that, but I just want to know if it speaks to you, if it makes sense to you, if you have questions, you know, if there's things that sound wrong to you. I'm happy to listen and to answer all of that. Yeah, and strategies are coming. I'm doing another CVD video. I know I've promised that. I'm going to do one. And I'm going to do a video about this particular strategy. We're going through all of the support and resistance and what I'm looking for the breakouts or for the reaction to certain levels. All right, guys, I wish you the best. Please, take this advice. This is what's life-changing, just as much as the strategy. All right, guys, see you around.